Trump is losing his mind completely. I don't think that is up for debate. The way he has been talking lately, like someone who just escaped from a rubber bungalow, it's pretty crazy. But he really topped himself Friday night. I guess you've seen some of the video now. He responded to Christians who were salivating all over him, these crazy Christian devils. What is wrong with you people? At a rally where the Christians were told by Trump that they don't have to vote again if he gets elected. I mean, this is straight out of the tyrant's playbook, but the entire Christian religion is based on tyranny, top to bottom. From their insane vision of this bloodthirsty, venomous, cannibalistic God that they invented, all the way through their prophets and their truth tellers, so-called, their story makers. It's all insane, just crazy. But the whole religion is set up on tyranny. Top down, you do what I say, and if you don't, I will fucking see that you burn in this hell you people created forever. Burn. Forever. Quite a choice, huh? Woo! Well, what happened Friday night is the Orange Bastard was wrapping up a speech that went on apparently for about an hour and a half. And he delivered his final pitch to these insane Christians who were in the audience just salivating and waving their goddamn arms in the air like Jesus H. Christ was about to leap out of Trump's bloated body. And he said that if they vote for him on Election Day, they would never have to vote again. Right. Trump said this was at Turning Point, something called a Turning Point Actions Believers Summit in the craziest state in the Union, Florida, in West Palm Beach. And Trump said, quote, I don't care how, but you have to get out and vote. Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. End quote. Well, I was taught in 4th grade English that the word fixed meant attached. That if you wanted to repair something broken, you used the word repair. You didn't use the word fix. Because fix means to attach it. I'm going to fix this painting to the wall. Now, of course, we don't use it anymore, but in a literal interpretation of what Trump said, you know what? It'll be fixed. What he is saying is that the presidency or the dictatorship of America would thereafter be totally attached to him. And then he added this in his screechy, goddamn weird voice, I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. Oh, get the fuck out of here, Trump. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed. It's so good, you're not going to have to vote. End quote. Holy fat Jesus riding a bicycle. Have you ever heard anything like that? No, not in this country. Never. But this man is fucking insane. He's drunk on what he thinks is the power that's just waiting for him after the election, November 5th. He's instructed his brown-shirted or black-shirted minions to be prepared to attack and destroy anything and everything that stands in the way of his theocratic dictatorship. The Harris campaign, for its part, is pointing out the obvious. that what the orange bastard said, that if Christians vote this one time, they won't have to do it ever again, is nothing more than, as Harris points out, what it is: a vow to end democracy. Now, the Christians who attend these horseshit gatherings like Turning Point, that's set up by the guy who is trying to, and is succeeding to some degree, in corrupting the minds of college students, corrupting them far worse than they would ever be corrupted by drugs or illicit sex or pornography. They're being corrupted by this Christian filth. Total Christian filth of destroy democracy, give up your freedom, become a slave, worship Trump, while Trump marches to the presidency or the dictatorship and relinquishes it never until these orange bastard croaks. This is madness on a scale that I know there have been, I have a difficult time finding historical references to this shit, but they're there. You can do your own research, but the idea of a demagogue such as Trump screaming and wheezing and yelling at religious nutcases who have no fucking idea of what constitutes reality anymore. These are people who have had their brains removed, scrubbed with some kind of a industrial strength cleanser, and then put back into their little pumpkin skulls. And once the brains are put back in, thoroughly washed and cleansed, they are Christians. Now, I can say the same thing about Orthodox Jews, and I've said it before. I can say the same thing about Orthodox Muslims, and I've said it before. Hindus, pick a group. You know what I feel about religion. It is the most vile, poisonous goddamn thing ever released into the human species. And it's going to be the end of us. Simply put, the end of us. Look what happened, was it yesterday? In the Golan Heights, or either in or near the Golan Heights, where Hezbollah launched a rocket attack that hit a soccer pitch where kids were playing fucking soccer. And 15, 20, who knows, children blown into chunks of bone and red mist. And the people doing this are hardcore Muslim. And the people who are going to respond are hardcore Jews. So it's not just the Christians. It is just the Christians here, hell-bent, determined, and I mean hell-bent, determined to destroy this country, to reduce it to rubble. Trump has already, like I just mentioned, Trump has already told his minions, be ready to fucking kill people. Be ready. Oh, well, okay. He hasn't said be ready to kill people, at least not publicly. But that was like, well, who was it? Henry II, who said something about, well, no one rid me of this tiresome priest. Was it tiresome? Was that the word? Tiresome? Meddlesome. Was no one rid me of this meddlesome priest? And, of course, he was talking about the Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Becket, or Thomas A. Becket, however you want to pronounce it. And shortly after Henry II said that, some assassins, I think there were 4 of them, went to where the Bishop resided and fucking stabbed him to death. They killed him, just like Caesar with the assassins who went after Caesar. And here we are again, Trump taking the place of Henry II, saying, well, no one rid me of these meddlesome Democrats, these people who believe in freedom and dignity and justice and honor and valor and truth. Get rid of them. So in the shadows stand these filthy little prick boys like the Proud Boys and the rest of these little quasi-militia groups who are determined to do what their Führer tells them to do. So when the Harris campaign spokesperson says that what Trump was screeching to these demented Christians is in fact a vow to end democracy, you can take that to the bank. There's a lot of things that a political campaign says that are hyperbole or nothing else, at least exaggeration, or in the extreme, utter bullshit, which is all that comes out of Trump's filthy mouth anyway, is utter bullshit. But this one, about what Trump is saying being a vow to end democracy, this one you can, as the saying goes, take it to the bank. Because that's exactly, I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. Yeah, well, in a very rotten, filthy sense, you certainly are, you orange son of a bitch. James Singer, who's a spokesman for the Harris campaign, said this, quote, when Vice President Harris says this election is about freedom, she means it. Our democracy is under assault by criminal Donald Trump. Donald Trump, quote goes on, Donald Trump wants to take America backward to a politics of hate, chaos, and fear. This November, America will unite around Vice President Kamala Harris to stop him. Okay, end quote. Okay, so that statement is factually correct. But to me, it is lukewarm. It's I don't know. It's just, it's like trying to make yourself a cup of tea with lukewarm water out of the tap. When Singer says, and Vice President Harris says this election about freedom, she means it. Okay, but you've got to come up, you've got to make that, I would advise the Harris campaign. Yeah, like they're going to listen to me. But I would make that much, much stronger. Maybe try this. When Vice President Harris says this election is about freedom, she means that if you vote for Trump, you're going to destroy your own country. You're going to realize when it's over that you have incarcerated yourself within the confines of a sick, demented religion that Okay, I know that's not going to happen. But that's what should be said. And when Singer adds, quote, Donald Trump wants to take America backward, no, he doesn't want to take America backward. He wants to take our political system and destroy it. It's never been destroyed before. That's not going backward. That's destroying it. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.